Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, April 20th, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves is accusing the opposition New Democratic Party, the NDP, of playing politics with the issue of payments for waste collection by residents in the Grenadines, particularly on Bequia. Dr. Gonsalves, who was speaking on Star FM earlier this week, said that it is a matter of principle to pay for the collection of garbage, which was instituted since 2002. He said that for Member of Parliament for West Kingston, Daniel Cummings, and opposition leader and MP for the Northern Grenadines, Dr. Godwin Friday, to say it is unfair for the people in the Grenadines to pay for waste collection shows that they are unfit to govern. The Prime Minister noted that Cummings served as the manager of the Central Water and Sewerage Authority, the CWSA, at the time, and wonders why he has now become such a staunch critic on the issue. PM Gonsalves said that the people on mainland St. Vincent get garbage collection once per week, while the people in the Grenadines have a collection twice per week, and it is reasonable for them to pay for the service.
You couldn't enforce the collection because you didn't have a water meter, a water bill going to people in Bequia. And after years of trying to collect, the government had to do something because it's entirely unfair for the 7% or thereabout of people in Bequia who are voluntarily paying and those who are not paying. And also unfair to those since the law was passed last year to enforce the payment through the VINLEC bill, that you have some people paying but some don't want to pay. Right. And for opposition politicians to say it's wicked and unfair is that they show that they're really unfit to govern.
The Prime Minister also dispelled allegations that his government and the CWSA are being insensitive to the needs of people.
So Friday's job should be to gather the names of those persons, if he wants to do his job as a representative, rather than talk foolishness, is to gather those names and go to CWSA and say, look, these are the arrears for these persons. Could you wipe off these arrears? Huh?
Okay.
Could you reduce them by 60, 70%, 80%? Are there adults who are living in those homes who are working? Though the bill is inside of somebody who is very old or who is suffering from some debilitating illness. You understand what I mean? Deal with the matter because CWSA and this government, we have always shown ourselves to be very sensitive. At least the CWSA underguards on us. He has a mandate to be sensitive.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday is calling on the Central Water and Sewerage Authority to have better open communication with the people of the Grenadines about the environmental levy. Dr. Friday, who was speaking at a media conference on Wednesday, is of the view that the CWSA failed to properly inform the residents that the legislation requires the collection of garbage fees be tied to their electricity bills.
Letting people know what the consequence of it is, and that they should start with a clean slate and go forward, and people are going to understand now going forward that they are required as part of the service provided by CWSA, which they're always associated with water, because that's what most people are saying. Why am I getting a water bill? I don't get any service from CWSA because the garbage collection was already provided prior to CWSA sending them a bill. So the practical thing, the fair thing would be to initiate a program now where they will educate the people. They should come down to the Grenadines, actually. I am inviting Mr. Saunders to come down. I will host a meeting with the community in Bequia and the Lower Grenadines and come and explain to people what it is going forward, why the situation has become how it is. I mean, if 90% of the people have been in arrears, there is a problem that is not just the people's problem. It has become a problem of CWSA as well.
The opposition leader said that there are many persons on a fixed income who cannot pay the arrears and pointed out that he has made the recommendation to wipe out outstanding balances for residents. He said that he would facilitate any efforts made by the CWSA to explain the process to the people of the Grenadines.
At this time, where people are actually watching the clouds and hoping that we get rainfall, right now, this is what is happening. Because they have to spend $300 to get one load of 1,000 gallons of water. And CWSA provides absolutely no assistance in that regard. In fact, if you have nobody in Bequia, say that's what happened. There were people who the drought was so long that a lot of people who used to sell or give water, they had none to give. People had to come up here and buy the water from CWSA, and they had to pay for it. Then they had to pay to transport it down on the boat, and then they had to pay to transport it home. I know one woman who she said she's paid over $1,400 herself. And how much water did she get? You see, these are some of the real hardships that you have that I think that people are not quite factoring in. And when the CWSA simply says, listen, you haven't been paying it, so now we're going to cut your electricity off. I mean, that is just rubbing salt in the wound as far as I'm concerned. It's callous.
And the Central Water and Sewerage Authority is asking all solid waste customers in the Grenadines to contact the CWSA either in person, via telephone, or in writing to arrange for settlement of outstanding balances. The company says persons with special circumstances will be accommodated. The Georgetown Hospital was last Thursday, April 13th, the recipient of a donation of supplies and equipment made possible by a former resident of the area, Neil Cork, who currently resides in the United States. The donation, which includes 2 commodes, a wheelchair, adult briefs, nurses' scrubs, stethoscopes, and sterile dressing, was officially handed over during a ceremony facilitated by the Sutherland family at the facility. Nikita Tony has more on the handing over ceremony in this report.
Known as an individual who is always desirous of making a contribution to his community of Georgetown, Vincentian national Neil Cork, who currently resides in the U.S., has once again made his mark by giving a donation of medical supplies and equipment to the Georgetown Hospital. The handing over ceremony took place last Thursday, April 13th, and was attended by government officials including Area Representative Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Keeping in mind the Ministry of Health slogan that health is a shared responsibility, Health Nursing Supervisor of the Georgetown District, Glandorine Brown, who spoke on behalf of the ministry, thanked Cork for his continued interest in developing the community.
As we all know, health is a shared responsibility, not alone that the government is only the person who is responsible for health, but that each of us as individuals have that role to play as well. So I am extremely grateful that he has seen the need to donate to the hospital. We have a nearby clinic as well, where some of these supplies would also be used.
Ward manager at the Georgetown Hospital, Tekla Jack, pointed out that Cork was among the many contributors of supplies to the hospital, which also included the Friends of the Georgetown Hospital Group, which has served the facility for some 15 years. She added that their assistance, along with that of the government, aid in the facility's development.
These equipment and supplies are not only used for the hospital setting. We share them to our health centers in the district as far as Fancy and to the south from Byra, because we endeavor to share whatever is donated to us at the hospital. And for this reason, we are very grateful to Mr. Cork for his donation.
Speaking on behalf of Neil Cork was Cork's cousin and this country's former Chief Personnel Officer, Tyrone Burke, who made mention of some of Cork's previous contributions to the Georgetown community. Burke expressed gratitude on behalf of the community and himself for Cork's continued hard work.
Is one person out of the entire family, 1 or 2 of them, will never forget this country. An individual who has a good spirit and a good heart, and is desirous of making further contribution. I think, I'm not going to predict what he will do next, but I think certain other things are in the making. I just want to thank him and to wish him all the best and good health, and I hope that we would see more contributions coming from him.
Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
And Area Representative Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says the Georgetown Medical Complex is expected to be completed soon. The complex, which is estimated to cost over 20 million EC dollars, once completed, is expected to consist of a surgical, dialysis and outpatient units and will change the face of healthcare services within the district, according to PM Gonsalves. Highlighting that medical facilities in the area have improved greatly under his administration, despite noted limitations, PM Gonsalves said he has already budgeted for the completion of the complex with all of the resources already in place, and that he had released $1 million weeks ago to assist with the completion of the complex. However, he stated that the transaction was being delayed by what he termed as bureaucracy.
From Bayabu all the way up to Fancy, and because of the dialysis facilities, people come from other areas. The bureaucracy has taken a little time, not her office, to do the departmental warrant, because it's the Ministry of Health and it has to be done through the Ministry of Works for their supervision, and then there is a system which has to be done in accordance with the Finance Administration Act. They've taken a little longer over it than they should have taken, but hopefully by today that money would be in the appropriate account. Second to last push, there's one other little push which will have to come, and hopefully by just after the first half of this year we should be in a place to have the staff recruited and put in place.
Thanking the dedicated medical professionals stationed at the Georgetown Hospital, as well as within the district, PM Gonsalves also took the opportunity to praise the continued interest shown by Vincentian national and former Georgetown resident Neil Cork in giving back to the community.
Happy for this contribution, not just as the representative, but also as the Minister of Finance and Prime Minister, because it means that we don't have to spend money on another wheelchair, we don't have to spend money on other equipment, and we don't have to spend money on other items and supplies and so on. There's something about a young man who left here when he was a boy of 8 years old, but having drank St. Vincent water early, it's in his blood for his entire life. Encourage more persons. I know a lot of persons in the diaspora help out, but I think Neil is an outstanding example, and I want God to bless him and his family, continue to do so.
A comprehensive prevention and control program is necessary in the fight against the human papillomavirus, which is responsible for causing cervical cancer. That's according to the focal point person of non-communicable diseases in the country, Ferosa Roach, as she spoke at a stakeholders consultation today designed to sensitize persons on issues surrounding the human papillomavirus, or HPV, and cervical cancer, as well as the implementation of a vaccine here in SVG. Roach added that HPV, which is the most common sexually transmitted infection, is responsible for 90% of cases of cervical cancer, which is a public health problem, causing the death of thousands of women in Latin America and the Caribbean. Speaking on treatment options, Roach stated that cervical cancer can be avoided through vaccination of adolescent girls, and added that a comprehensive public education program will go a long way in the fight against HPV and cervical cancer.
It is important for the ministry and the general public to have a more complete understanding of the natural history of HPV infection and its relationship to the development of abnormalities of the cervix. It is also important for the Ministry of Health to put measures in place to address these very important public health issues. Measures to include a comprehensive prevention and control cervical cancer program, including screening and the introduction of the HPV vaccine. The decision to introduce the HPV vaccine was guided by an HPV prevalence study that was conducted in St. Vincent in 2014. The World Health Organization also recommends a comprehensive approach to cervical cancer prevention and control. This includes community education, social mobilization, vaccination, screening, and treatment.
Sub-Regional Advisor on Immunization for PAHO and the WHO, Dr. Karen Lewis Bell, stated that most deaths related to cervical cancer occur in the developing world, and added that whilst HPV is sexually transmitted disease, its contraction is not evidence of promiscuity in a woman, noting that the history of her sexual partner is a crucial factor in its transmission.
In most countries, cervical cancer is the second leading cause of death in women from cancer. And about 84% of these deaths occur in less developed countries. Again, most women do not usually develop cervical cancer, but we can't tell you which woman will not develop cervical cancer. You can have a woman who is in a stable union, she may be married, she may have only one sexual partner, but it's the history of the partners prior to that union that may predispose her to the HPV and to cancer down the line. So it's not that the women are promiscuous necessarily, or that the men are also promiscuous. It is just the history and the whole scenario. There are other factors that may be associated with cervical cancer that we'll talk about later, including high-fat diet and tobacco use, etc.
Speaking on the importance of vaccination for adolescent girls, Dr. Bell noted that treatment works best when administered at a young age, and noted that it does not promote sexual activity among the youth.
This is a vaccine that is giving personal protection 15, 20, 30 years down the line, but it works best if you give it before exposure to the virus. Parents also had concerns about the side effects, 52%. 46% said parents voiced concerns that the vaccines promote sexual activity, and this is a concern that a lot of people had. Now, the vaccine given to a 13-year-old girl is not going to make them more sexually active than they would have under normal circumstances. It's different from giving out condoms. If you are giving out condoms, it may send a message at 13 that if you're gonna have sex, it's okay, here, use the condoms. The vaccine is a different strategy. It is protection against cancer down the road. We all know that we are sexual beings, and it may not be at age 13, it may not be at age 15, but certainly at some point in their lifetime, most people become sexually active.
Some of SVG's best musicians and performers were recognized last evening at the staging of the 2017 SVG AMP Awards. However, it was the Milleswe brothers and Philip Wetty Beats Bastian who took home several of the awards handed out. Nolisha Miller tells us more in this report.
Vincentian music was celebrated at the 2017 SVG AMP Awards held on Wednesday night at the Signature Band Lounge. The musicians were praised for their contribution and development to Vincentian culture. However, the need for more support to be given to Vincentian music was echoed throughout the night's proceedings. Dominating this year's AMP Awards was Philip Wetty Beats Bastian, who received awards for Best Rhythm Track, Songwriter of the Year, and Producer of the Year. Record of the Year went to Mason with his 2016 hit Dem Vinci. Newcomer Shawali received the award for Best New Artist. 2016 Soca Monarch champ Hyper 4000 was awarded with Soca Single of the Year.
4000. Thanks to God, thanks to everybody. Support Vinci music. That's what I want everybody to do. Support Vinci music.
While the Raga Soca Single of the Year by a female artist went to Chanel McKenzie with her single Wet and Wild, and Skinny Fabulous's Watch Thing received the Raga Soca Single of the Year by male artists. Zamfere Manzangi Adams was also a big winner to receive the award for Calypso Single of the Year, while Hans John received the award for Best Male Vocal Performance with his song hit Zone. Stacey Little was also awarded the Best Female Vocal Performance with Bless Him Up. The Mellowese brothers were also recognized in a big way as they received the award of Entertainer of the Year and the Best Vocal Performance by a Duo or Group. Member of Kinetic were all smiles as they received the awards for Best Live Band, while Scorpions Never Forget Music Video earned Sheridan Lewis the Best Video Award yet again. Meantime, Chad Misfit Durant received the Male's Gospel Single of the Year award, and Stacey Little received the Female Award. Reggae Single of the Year and Best Vocal Collaboration went to Abuza, Dynamite, and Yafatu. Universal Single of the Year and Hip Hop and R&B Single of the Year was copped by Young Quince featuring MDZ. And SVG's Dance Hall Sensation First Lady received the Dance Hall Single of the Year award. Musical sensation Luther received the Christmas Single of the Year award with his hit Rum Santa.
I want to say a special thanks to the 9 Mornings Committee, Lennox Bowman, and the entire crew for putting on such a fantastic festival, so much so that they're trying to rival our carnival. I would like to encourage more of our artists though to partake in the Christmas festivities, because what it does, it gives you the opportunity to show your versatility, and there's an opportunity there to make some money at another occasion in the year.
Also being recognized for contribution to music development in SVG was DJ Fugitive, who received the Disc Jockey of the Year award, while NBC Radio copped the Radio Station of the Year award. Darren Andrews received the Musician of the Year award, while special honors were presented to Exodus and Canals for their dedication to the development of Vincentian music. The Lifetime Achievement Award went to Granville's Sunblaze Finley for outstanding accomplishments in calypso performance and composition. Nulisha Miller, The Evening News.
Seeking to empower persons by providing education and training opportunities which individuals would not otherwise be able to obtain, the Adult and Continuing Education Division within the Ministry of Education continues to provide an avenue for such persons to develop into productive and innovative citizens. On Wednesday evening, the division officially commenced a 3-day tour guide training workshop in collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism. The workshop is aimed at not only imparting knowledge to the participants, but also getting persons interested in the hospitality and tourism sector. Nikita Tony tells us more about the training workshop in this report.
Keeping in mind their motto, never too big to learn, the Adult and Continuing Education ACE Division within the Ministry of Education continues to seek new and innovative ways to introduce skills to participants. One such measure is through a 3-day tour guide training workshop, which commenced here earlier today, Wednesday, 19th April, at the Curriculum Unit, pointing out that the ACE Division supports the empowerment of the clients, whether academically or through a skill. Instructor within the division, Rosamond Lane Lorraine, expressed gratitude to the Ministry of Tourism as they work together to create productive citizens.
I don't think that anything should be thrown out when it comes to learning taking place, because there's avenue for everybody to be empowered. Whatever you learn here today, you will put it into practice. You will be able to gain, hopefully, some finances from it, because you know we are a tourist destination. Also learning more about your country, learning how to deal with persons in the public.
Lane Lorraine highlighted other training opportunities being provided by the division, noting that persons should take advantage of such training as it gives them a chance to not only enhance their knowledge but also learn a new skill.
Come see what we have to offer. Currently we have housekeeping happening in Barley, floral arrangement in Fancy, screen printing in Owia, and the list goes on. And soon to come we'll have a agro-processing program in Kittels, which is Zone 6. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a good time here for the 3 days you will be having this workshop, and I hope and trust that what you learn here, you will use it to empower not only yourself, but other persons with whom you may come in contact.
Quality Development Manager within the SVG Tourism Authority, Avanel De Silva, expressed her elation to partner with the ACE Division on such a great initiative. She further added that it is her hope to see persons, including the participants at the 3-day workshop, becoming stakeholders in the hospitality and tourism sector.
Of course, one of our mandates at the Tourism Authority is to train our stakeholders within the industry, those who are directly involved within the industry. Don't be afraid. We hope that you're open, you're willing to learn everything that we're going to go through over the next 3 days, and you, of course, at the end, maybe become part of the tourism industry in the end of it. I know a lot of you have other opportunities. As Mrs. Lorraine said, you are being provided training elsewhere in other areas, but hopefully you will decide to become a part of the tourism and hospitality industry here in St. Vincent.
Guided by their mandate that learning is a lifelong endeavor, the Division of Adult and Continuing Education urges persons to come out and take advantage of the various training opportunities as they strive to achieve an even more productive SVG. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
Aimed at showcasing the talents of not only its present students, but also provide a form of empowerment by engaging and displaying the talents of its former students, the St. Vincent Grammar School will tomorrow, Friday, April 21st, host its Generation X meets Generation Y concert at the Peace Memorial Hall. In an interview with SVG-TV News earlier today, educator at the institution and local entertainer Kamara Kido Foster says the institution has and continues to produce students who are not only developed academically but also possess a wealth of talent. Given a brief highlight of what patrons can expect at tomorrow's event, Foster says the event also seeks to generate funds to support the school's athletes who were selected to represent this country at the 2017 Penn Relays.
Trying to bring together the old talents that passed through the gates of St. Vincent Grammar School and merge it with the new talents, the new and upcoming talents that are presently at the school. People can expect nothing but the best. I mean, you should know by now that grammar school, anything that the St. Vincent Grammar School touches turns to gold. We are not just an academically inclined institution. We are an institution that's full of talent, and tomorrow we are really going to showcase that. We have modeling, we have dancing, we have singing, we have poetry. Anything in terms of talent, name it, it's going to be there. We have a big DJ clash going down as well, where we have a young DJ who's going to come up against a veteran DJ. We'll get performances from Royal, from Dimes and Pixel, performances from yours truly, Kido, Rodney Small, Saeed Bowman. We have our models from the St. Vincent Community College. We have Anel Horn. We have great dancers from the school as well.
Emphasizing that the event is a worthy cause, Foster urges members of the public to come out and support the venture, which promises to be an evening of great entertainment.
You can pick up tickets at the Peace Memorial Hall. You can also pick up tickets at the St. Vincent Grammar School. It's for a worthy cause. You know, we need our athletes from St. Vincent and the Grenadines to showcase their talent as well, and we need our country to be represented well. I mean, the Penn Relays, you normally have the Thomas Sanders Secondary School participating, but considering that we have the invitation this year, we really want our boys to go and show what they can do, especially since we are defending champions of the inter-secondary school athletics meet. We have won that competition 6 years in a row, so why not let our boys go out as well and show what they can do? So just come out, show your support, only $30.